All right, we've got Washington, D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine. He's a Democrat. General, the back and forth on this is, I can't keep up with it. But on that behavior, I don't know Senate rules, maybe you do. Is that going too far? Is that quoting from a letter that's 30 years old that uses a term like reprehensible to refer to a guy who is now up for Attorney General a bad move?
Neil, I'm like you. I really don't know the niceties of Senate Rule 19, but it did seem to me, as just an observer, that what Senator Warren was doing was perfectly appropriate. She was reading the letter, a heartfelt letter of an iconic figure, an iconic civil rights hero who was expressing her views and her observations about the role that Senator Sessions has played in civil rights. And, you know, for the life of me, I don't know why it is that the public letter of an iconic figure would not be allowed to be read. And so I'm generally supportive of everything that Senator Warren did and her colleague Kamala Harris from California in trying to get that letter fully read. The public should know what Coretta Scott King thought in 1986. And by the way, as you know,
Neil, 1986, right? I mean, I could see the argument it's a fair game to sort of go into something like this, but if we're going to be judged and debate on what someone was saying, regardless of who they are, and she's a big deal then, as she, in retrospect, remains. It's 30-plus years old.
And I think that certainly goes to the weight that one should, give to that letter. Indeed, Senator Sessions has had 30 years since that letter to, demonstrate his conduct and his fidelity to civil rights.
And many say he has, fighting the Ku Klux Klan and all. Now, that's all opinion, I understand, but I guess that's what bugs you. But you're right, on Senate rules and decorum, I've heard far nastier things, so you're right about that. But I also want to get on, you're part of 19 attorneys general fighting the president's immigration order that goes too far. But on what grounds do you argue it's going too far? The president just earlier today saying he's trying to protect us. You argue the opposite.
Well, here's what we argue. We readily acknowledge that the president, generally speaking, under law, has great authority in the area of national security and immigration. However, as the judges made clear yesterday, that authority is subject to the checks and balances of the United States Constitution. My colleagues and I sincerely believe that the executive order goes too far, in that it violates the Equal Protection Clause and the Establishment Clause of the Constitution by essentially favoring one religion over another.
So it's not so that you don't think the president has the right to protect us. You think that he has mixed this with a personal bias against a religion and a people. Even when he says he's not, he's echoing the same 7 countries that Barack Obama did.
Well, I think, as you know, there are very significant differences between that which Barack Obama did with respect to those 7 countries. It's really important to point out the difference. What Barack Obama did with respect to those 7 countries is that he made a rule that caused people who ordinarily would not have to get a visa to enter into the United States to require additional vetting if they visited those 7 countries. What President Trump is doing is quite different, as you know. He's imposing a ban on immigration.
All right. It sounds like I'm jumping on you because we're going to a commercial break that's coming whether you and I are speaking or not. But, General, thank you very, very much for taking the time. We do appreciate it.
Thank you, Neil.